Good morning, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for that. And it's slightly ironic, is it not, that this question is about cycling and walking and how we can decarbonise, whilst I'm sure those people outside have got decent intentions, the way they're going about their business is completely unacceptable, and we need to continue in this House. So I can happily update the House that my department is investing an unprecedented £2 billion in active travel over the course of this Parliament, and this is the biggest boost for walking and cycling. Mr. Speaker, my colleague for Broxtowe would have had a supplementary, and I know he wanted to talk about areas in his constituency, because, Mr. Speaker, that's all he ever does. And he wanted to talk about mini Hollands and the way they can change people's behaviour when it came to cycling, and wanted to mention the town of Stapleford. And I just wanted to say that we have, it's in our gear change manifesto for cycling, you could say, and expressions of interest have been received from more than 30 local authorities for building these schemes. So they are remarkably popular, including from Nottinghamshire County Council, and we're working on a list to progress to the next stage to receive feasibility studying in the next financial year.
We now come to SNP spokesperson Ronnie Cowan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Scotland's active travel budget will soon amount to 10% of the transport budget, at least £320 million per year spent on walking and wheeling. This amounts to nearly £60 per person per year in Scotland, in contrast to the DfT's plans to spend under £7 per head. When a member for Paisley and Renfrewshire North put this to the Secretary of State, he was disbelieving. Now that he's seen the proof, why is the DfT short-changing active travel in England?
Minister.
For his question, and I'm sure he's very pleased about the amount of money that the Scottish Government is receiving for cycling and walking in a devolved settlement via the Barnett formula. And I can say to him, actually, those figures are not correct. When spending on cycling and walking in England has doubled from what was a paltry £3.50 per head in 2010 to around £10 per head now, and obviously with the massive increase in spending, the largest increase in spending we've ever had in cycling and walking in this Parliament with this Prime Minister's gear change plans, that will continue to increase.
Robert Goodman.
Does the Minister, who is also the Railway Minister, agree with me that a key element of any cycling and walking plan should be better parking provision for cycles at railway stations?
Minister.
I thank my honourable friend and former Transport Minister for his question, and that's absolutely the case. One of the best gala dinners I've ever attended was the Cycle to Rail gala dinner, where there were awards for the best such schemes, and we are investing a huge amount of money in new cycle parking, secure cycle parking around the country, and I went to see some of this not so long ago in this great city of Hull.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Rail services on, to and from Teesside are probably some of the worst in the country, with hand-me-down diesel trains and intermittent services. Soon we'll have the 200th anniversary of the start of the railways with the Stockton to Darlington Railway. Any chance of improvements before then?
Minister.
I thank the honourable gentleman for his question. There are a whole host of massive improvements that are going on across our railways. I'll happily meet with him to talk about individual DMUs around the Stockton area and how they can be improved. But the massive increase in new rolling stock on our railways, I think, is extraordinarily good for all passengers up and down the country and helps with our decarbonisation targets.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Birmingham Cross City line is, I'm told, the second busiest rail line in the whole of the United Kingdom, and a continuation of it is the route from Lichfield to Burton via the National Memorial Arboretum. Now, that line at present is only used for freight traffic. Can I ask my right honourable friend to come and visit without a harness? Would he come and visit and have a look at the rail line for himself and see what a valuable addition it would be to the rail network?
Fabricant line.
I thank my right honourable friend for his question, and I would be delighted to visit. The Secretary of State, I'm sure, would as well. And the Secretary of State definitely doesn't need a harness to visit places. We are well aware of the opportunities that exist in this area, and indeed the importance of the National Memorial Arboretum to so many people. And I look forward to continuing my conversations with the honourable gentleman in due course.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I do appreciate your understanding when I was blocked getting into the House earlier today by the protesters. The Prime Minister, thankfully, came to Broxtowe to announce gear change last year, which was £2 billion worth of cycling and walking funding. And I think that does indicate that active travel is really at the heart of the government's agenda. But I have a town called Stapleford in Broxtowe, and they have put in an expression of interest for something that sounds fantastic called Mini Hollands. Could the Minister please explain what the scheme is all about and how the process will work?
He already has, but don't worry.
I'll try and amend my answer from earlier, Mr. Speaker, and I'm very pleased to see my honourable friend in his place, as he should be, representing his constituents from the Tarquins in the world outside. Now, I can honestly say to the honourable gentleman that the gear change document is an extremely important document, and it has a whole host of pledges that we would like to see. Mini Hollands are one of them. Where they've been introduced before, Waltham Forest in London is a very good example of this. We're getting towards nearly 50% of all journeys taken within the area being taken by active travel. A massive change in how people go about their business, and indeed massive acceptance by communities that might have been sceptical about them beforehand. They are really valuable schemes.
John Warren.